You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. Allegations of negligence lead the family of a Joplin City Jail inmate to file a lawsuit.
Plus, Joplin looks for solutions to help the city's homeless students.
And take a look at this gorgeous sunrise out there. We've got a fall-like start to our Friday, cool temperatures and even a frost advisory out there. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning. That is the second time this week that we've had Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds for the
I noticed the birds, yeah.
That was a lot of birds. I don't know if they were chasing our drone, if they were startled by the drone, or what was going on, but there was an invasion of birds in that thing.
Absolutely.
Pigeons, too. Pigeons. Pigeons.
All right.
Plentiful pigeons. We've got some issues that the Joplin School District is looking to address as well.
Yes, from pigeons to the homeless population. And the homeless population of Joplin students is actually on the rise. KOAM's Anthony Saviello brings us the story.
Homelessness is an unfortunate but common issue within the Joplin area. And it is one that not only affects adults, but students as well.
The numbers have rose since the tornado year by year, but we also have had this position. This is the third year that we've had somebody in this particular position through a homeless grant that we were awarded through the state of Missouri. And so I believe that we're identifying more students as well.
Tara Porter currently fills the role as the McKinney-Vento case manager for the Joplin School District. Tara told me that the Joplin School District currently has 7,600 students enrolled. Of that 7,600, 420 of them qualify under the McKinney-Vento definition of homeless. Of that 420, 116 reside in the high school alone. And of that 116, 20 of them are completely on their own. However, there is hope for these students, and the school district has many efforts to keep them in school and to set them up for success.
We really help with extracurricular activities, clothing, school supplies. We have helped students who are on their own, unaccompanied, with apartment stuff, bedding, just an array of things that we can help with. We also pay for transportation sometimes and things such as that.
But what is causing this issue to rise in the area?
The cost of living is so high, and so rent is very high. And we have a lot of families who have had stable housing who are in the situation where they're having to double up and live with somebody else just to get by right now.
Despite the complications, it doesn't stop Tara from putting her best foot forward to help these students. Reporting in Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Porter also says the district is one of 13 in the state of Missouri to receive a grant that helps homeless students.
And certainly they can get some work done out there and take care of at least some of this issue, because that doesn't help your education process.
No,
where you
and those
don't
numbers
have
are
a place to go.
Staggering.
They certainly
very surprising.
are. It's
yes.
Very, very surprising indeed. And you might also be surprised stepping outside this morning, because boy, it is a bit on the chilly side. But we do have this beautiful sunrise on our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Just look at that. It's like one of those paintings. We haven't had a gorgeous sunrise like that in a little while here, but that looks amazing. And we're looking pretty good from the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Rangeline. Of course, the sun rising back over here. We are looking off to the north, and it is looking good. But it is cool, because if you take a look down here on that little ticker, it says 50 degrees in Joplin. It is chilly out there. And then tonight into tomorrow at 9 a.m., we have frost advisories all of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. So if you have any vegetation doesn't like the cold, you need to bring it in or wrap it up if you can, because it is going to be chilly tonight. We're sitting now officially at 48 in Joplin, but we still have those clear skies out there. And we got clear skies to start the day in Pittsburgh, a little cooler, sitting at 46. We get our morning started. We're starting with just a few clouds. Clouds will increase as the morning goes on, because we'll start to see some shower chances later. Mid-60s by late morning. Here's some of those showers, maybe even by 10, but by noon, a few more of these isolated to widely scattered showers as the evening and afternoon progress are going to be much more isolated. And then by 6, the last of those are out of here. We're going to hit our high right around noon today. if that gives you any idea as to what to expect later. Temperatures will begin to fall through the day down into the mid-40s by 10. And here's why we have those frost advisories. By 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, we're talking mid-upper 30s across the area to start our Saturday. So considerably colder outside than what we've been used to the last few days. Cold weather doesn't last long. We're going to start to warm up, and then it makes a return. We'll take a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
The family of an inmate in the Joplin City Jail has filed a lawsuit in connection with his death. The suit filed by the family of Nicholas Bartlett accuses the city of Joplin, the Joplin Police Department, the Joplin City Jail, and 5 employees of multiple counts of negligence. According to court documents, on September 15th, Nicholas Bartlett was booked at the Joplin City Jail for charges including domestic assault. Bartlett was placed on suicide watch as he had been causing self-harm. Less than 4 hours later, Bartlett was discovered hanging from a phone cord in his cell. Bartlett was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Court documents say that the suicide occurred during a more than 2-hour gap where Bartlett was left unattended, a gap which goes against the police department's suicide protocol. A U.S. Senator made an appearance yesterday at some Southeast Kansas schools. One of the stops for Senator Jerry Moran of Kansas was at Labette County Community College. The senator says he made the trips to see how our local schools are doing.
We're trying to find resources, dollars, to help our community colleges and technical colleges. I think there's a lot of potential for growth. Every business I visit in Kansas, but certainly here, tells me we could expand and grow if we just had more workers who are trained and ready, capable of working.
Senator Moran also visited Labette County High School in Altamont and Southeast High School in Cherokee. Mercy Hospital in Columbus, Kansas yesterday blessed its new outpatient physical therapy building. Blessing new facilities and equipment is a tradition of Mercy. The new building is 2,400 square feet, more than 4 times the size of the hospital's previous outpatient physical therapy space.
We have been talking about expanding and building our PT facility for several years, even before COVID. COVID hit, it put it on delay, and every plan that we had, we changed it a little bit, don't know if that's enough space, and never dreamed that we would be doing this.
The new building is across from the hospital at 111 Sycamore Street. And up next, with thousands of nurses on strike, protest staffing shortages, and many nursing schools are not able to accept hundreds of new students. And later, how one woman proved you're never too old for a good time. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, Arkansas health officials say that a case of locally acquired malaria has been reported in the state. It brings to the 10 number of cases in the U.S. this year. The resident had not traveled out of the country, and 5 other malaria cases have been reported in Arkansas this year, but all of those infections were acquired out of the country. Malaria is spread through bites from a particular type of mosquito. Most Americans who catch it do so overseas in areas where the disease is more common, for example, in Africa. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says in the years before the pandemic, about 2,000 cases were reported annually in the U.S., mostly travel-related. Around the U.S. this year, 7 cases of locally acquired malaria have been reported in Florida, 1 in Maryland, and 1 in Texas. 2 new studies are suggesting that RSV can cause more severe symptoms in older adults, especially if they have underlying conditions. The studies were released by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Thursday. In one study, researchers looked at about 15 months of data from 25 hospitals. They found adults ages 60 and older who had RSV were hospitalized less frequently when compared to those who had the flu or COVID-19. However, those who had RSV tended to need more help to breathe. The second study looked at nearly a year's worth of data from more than 1,600 senior patients who were hospitalized with RSV. They saw that more than half were 75 years or older, and nearly all had at least one underlying condition. Nearly a fifth had to be admitted to the ICU, and nearly 5% had died. And RSV has killed up to 10,000 people in the U.S. a year who are 65 and older. 2 RSV vaccines for older adults were approved earlier this spring. At a time when thousands of nurses are on strike to protest staffing shortages, many nursing schools are not able to accept hundreds of new students. The reason? Not only is there a shortage of nurses in clinical settings, there's also a problem with having enough nursing professors to teach them. According to the American Association of Colleges of Nurses, more than 78,000 qualified applicants were turned away last year. Even in schools that have enough nursing faculty member, there are often not enough clinical placements for existing students. In hospitals, preceptors who train new nurses have strict limits on how many students they can supervise at a time. Aggravating the existing shortage, many nurses were burned out during the pandemic and left the profession entirely. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is pumping more than $26 million into an effort to train more nursing faculty to help address the problem. Many kids suffer concussions, but it can be hard to determine who will have long-term symptoms and who can safely return to sports. As Dr. Malika Marshall reports, getting your child seen by a concussion specialist early on can make all the difference in their recovery.
As a school-based athletic trainer for more than 33 years, Terry Pillsbury knows a lot about concussions.
It might not even be a blow to the head. You know, concussions can occur from whiplash. Concussions can occur from even on a great turf field like this.
The 56-year-old also knows from personal experience. Nearly 2 years ago, she fell off a 5-foot landing, striking the back of her head hard. After weeks of dizziness and sensitivity to loud noises and bright lights, she was eventually referred to the concussion program at Mass General Brigham.
And that's exactly what doctors are hoping children will do after a head injury, get seen by a concussion specialist sooner rather than later.
Dr. Mary Alexis Icarino is a traumatic brain injury specialist who treated Terry. She says it's important to determine which kids may suffer long-term and who is ready to return to sports. If too soon, their symptoms could return even stronger, or in rare cases, never go away.
We used to think that rest was the best medicine for concussion, but research has shown us that actually an active rehabilitation approach is the best way to get people better faster. Some of the things we might do would be to put a child through an exercise progression, through some cognitive testing, through a series of concussion-specific physical exam maneuvers.
That way parents and trainers can know if the child is ready to get back into play.
We're not talking about your finger, your knee, your ankle. We're talking about your brain, and this is something that obviously you need for the rest of your life.
Sound advice for us all. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Boston.
If a concussion specialist is not in your area, doctors say a team approach with input from a pediatrician, athletic trainer, and school nurse is best.
And we've got ourselves a pretty chilly start out there, but a beautiful sunrise to get our Friday underway. We'll have another full look at your forecast and talk about this cool weather, how long it lasts when the warm weather gets back, and about our frost advisories out there as well. And coming up, fall. Well, it's definitely here, and it's a time for festivals and festivities. We've got some suggestions for you and your family to enjoy this weekend.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me today in studio is Brad Hodson to talk about MSSU's homecoming. So that's an exciting week. Tell us, what do you guys have planned?
Oh my gosh, it's been a week full of activities. It culminates tomorrow with the homecoming parade at 10 a.m. and the football game at 2 p.m. But it's been a full week of, there's a picnic on the Oval today. We had a bonfire last night. We'll all take a nap on Sunday. It's just been a great week.
I love that. Okay, so tell us about the parade. What can we expect for it?
So 10 a.m. downtown Joplin, Missouri from 7th to 2nd Street. We watched the weather forecast. It's going to be a beautiful day in downtown Joplin. We have 9 high school bands joining us. We have 60 units altogether, floats and homecoming queens and kings and all the traditional trappings of a homecoming parade.
I love that. And what is the route? Where can people go to watch it?
You can watch it in 2 locations. You can watch it from 7th Street to 2nd on Main, and then it will turn at the former public library and go down Joplin Street to the south, and so there's lots of places to watch the parade.
And of course, homecoming can't have it without a football game. Who are you guys playing against?
Fort Hays State University, 2 p.m. The Lions are going to just dominate tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be fantastic.
I love it. Is there going to be a cool halftime show?
Well, there's always a cool halftime show, but then the big event at halftime is the crowning of the king and queen. We have over, I think, 13 different candidates that are finalists for the king and queen, and we will make the big announcement at halftime tomorrow.
And how is that selected?
So student organizations can nominate a king or queen candidate, and then the students vote. And so if you're on campus today, there are posters and sidewalk chalk all over promoting one organization's king and queen candidate over another.
So are we going to expect a lot of school colors being worn?
Well, you have to wear the green and the gold tomorrow. There's just no choice.
Well, I understand you also have a theme for this year's homecoming. Tell us about that.
Lions Assemble. So if you're an Avengers fan, that is just permeating campus right now. So, and all the offices have their doors decorated with the theme. So just come out to campus, walk around, and soak in all the fun.
So you're going to have obviously the students that are currently there, but tell us, is there going to be a big alumni turnout?
It's always
Locals?
a big, yeah, absolutely. Well, locals and then folks from across the country use homecoming as a chance to have reunions, to reconnect with their friends and family, and so it will be a time for everyone to come back to Missouri Southern.
Who doesn't love that? All right, okay, so parade kicks off at what time tomorrow?
10 a.m. tomorrow
10 a.m.
morning in downtown Joplin. Lots of candy and floats and kings and queens and bands. It's just an awesome time.
Sounds like a great time. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us, and stay tuned because we got more news coming up after this.
Well, the golden years can also be a golden opportunity for adventure.
And take a look at this. Patrick Cornell shows us the woman who proves you're never too old for a good time.
Meet Daredevil Dorothy Hoffner. This 104-year-old adrenaline junkie decided she needed a shot of life and jumped from a perfectly good airplane, potentially becoming the oldest person to ever tandem skydive. Do you think she was scared? No way. Dorothy is a pro. This is her second triple-digit date with gravity. She also went skydiving when she was 100.
No, I wasn't scared. Never. Because if everyone else was doing it, it had to be safe. Nobody had any problems. So if no one else had problems, why should I?
Excellent logic, and it paid off. Look at that perfectly safe landing. The only part she didn't enjoy, all this
Well, you see, she hit the ground so hard that it just froze the whole thing, didn't it?
We all froze for a minute there when we saw that
just
impact, but she's fine.
She's fine,
good.
And I know that she had a great time doing it. We've talked about this before. I've never been in a plane. Very likely will never be in a plane. You certainly, if you got me in one, could not get me to voluntarily jump out of a plane.
Step out of the box or the plane. You got to live a little. Life is worth living. Look at, take a note from the 104-year-old
I live
woman.
a little every day. I drive on the 4 state streets, and I think you folks at home know exactly what I'm talking about out there.
Oh,
there are
goodness.
days that that you drive around here, man, there's some bad drivers, but things are okay. But
there's no bad drivers here. No, I will say, I lived in LA, all right?
Okay,
those are bad
that
drivers.
doesn't count.
Everything
That's
here is
not fair.
pretty smooth.
That's
Thumbs
not
up for
fair.
driving.
Okay.
Very
All
safe
right,
drivers.
All
So.
right, you West Coast folks.
You local, you have no idea how good you got it.
Honestly,
thank you
I'm
for
sure,
driving so
I'm
safe
sure
out here. Well, tell us about the weekend weather. What can we expect?
It's going to be chilly for sure. Let's take a quick look outside, shall we? We've got, I'm so sorry. See, because we were so caught off guard by this young lady's impact with the ground. We're a little backwards. We'll have another look at your forecast. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that.
But you know what?
Also got something big coming up this weekend.
Of course,
soon.
it's the front porch party happening in historic
Absolutely.
Joplin. So a bunch of bands coming out. Looks like a great time had by all. Hopefully the weather will cooperate for it.
It certainly should, although it be a little chilly out there. And take a look at this. We have got a beautiful start to our Friday out there, a very fall-like day, and it's going to be cool for the next few days, downright cold in some instances. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:28 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Joplin is getting ready for the 7th edition of North Heights Porch Fest. On Saturday from noon to 7 p.m., almost 50 bands will be playing on more than 30 front porches around the historic neighborhood. Country, blues, rock, pop, and classical are just some of the genres neighbors and visitors will be able to enjoy. For organizers and volunteers, this is the chance to shine a spotlight not only on local bands, but also on the neighborhood itself.
If you look at real estate listings around in the area, a lot of people specifically mention Porch Fest as something that's amazing about this neighborhood. It has really drawn people in. We've had people move here just because of Porch Fest. It's amazing.
More pride in their house, and you could see the houses being fixed back up, and we're getting a lot of younger families in, and they're buying the houses and then fixing them up. So it's been a positive force.
More than 10 food trucks and 20 artists will also join the event. You can find the details on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com.
And we've got that chilly start to our finally Friday here in the 4 states. Taking a look, MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. Got a great sunrise out there. We've got the clear skies for the time being, but that's going to start to change. And as we head into the overnight hours through 9 o'clock tomorrow, frost advisories. All of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. So if you've got any outdoor plants, either bring them in if you can, and if you can't, get them covered up because they may not like our temperatures tonight. Again, clear skies in Joplin, but cool. Well, cold, 48, 45 in Pittsburgh with plentiful sunshine right now. As we get our morning started, again, we're starting with those mostly clear skies. Clouds will begin to increase. We'll go mostly cloudy by late morning into the mid-60s. Ahead of all of this, some isolated to widely scattered shower chances. So we had late morning into the afternoon across the area. Those will clear out by about 6 o'clock this evening, and our temperatures, we're going to reach our high right about noon today, and then those temps will begin to fall. And here's why we have those frost advisories. Here we are, 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Look at these temperatures. We're talking mid-upper 30s, and because of that, our Saturday, not going to be very warm at all. In fact, our highs only the low 60s, so we'll spend most of our Saturday in the mid to upper 50s before we eventually make it into the low 60s out there. We'll have another full look at your forecast and that 7-day here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, it's Arts and Humanities Month in Joplin, and to celebrate, the mayor yesterday made a proclamation recognizing local artists, musicians, and area organizations in the Joplin arts community. Yesterday was also the last art walk of the year, which many of those artists take part in. Officials say it's important to recognize the life and culture artists bring to the community.
We have so many artists, so many creatives, poetry, writers, we got it all. And we just felt like they needed to be recognized as well. We have got a lot of arts organizations, nonprofits and for-profits, and that we needed to be part of that action and talk about it and remind everybody how important it is to have that in their lives. I don't think they'll debate that.
This is the 16th year of the Joplin Art Walk. And it's officially fall, which means pumpkins galore. Pryor Creek Farms in Cherryville, Kansas is celebrating with its annual pumpkin patch. It includes scenic hay rides, corn pit, barrel train, and of course pumpkin picking. The Pumpkin Patch gift shop features products from local artists and artisans. The Pumpkin Patch is open every weekend as well as Tuesday evenings through the month of October. And this weekend you can get up close with the Touch a Tractor event. And you can also find plenty of other fun family events in the area this weekend. You can see migrating pelicans at Grove, Oklahoma's Pelican Fest. The carnival there opens at Wolf Creek Park tonight with more activities planned tomorrow and Sunday. In Fort Scott, Kansas, the annual Gordon Parks celebration began today and continues through Saturday at the Gordon Parks Museum. And the Baxter Springs, Kansas Civil War encampment will be held on the grounds of the Baxter Springs Heritage Center and Museum and the historic Fort Blair site. That'll be on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, the Columbus Day Festival runs Saturday through Monday in Columbus, Kansas. Weather permitting, a highlight as always, the colorful hot air balloon regatta. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We have Shannon Becker back in studio to tell us about his big 3 stories of the week.
Plus, we've got that beautiful sunrise, a great start to a pretty chilly day across the area. We'll talk about those fall-like temperatures and how long they last when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Shannon.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back.
Let's talk about some fall festivals.
Let's do
Big
it.
3 this week. You didn't get to mention the Jolly Mill. It's our number 3 story, the big 3. Tomorrow from 9 until 4. The Jolly Mill actually dates back to 1848. That's 175 years ago when they built this building. It's the original National Register of Historic Places. Now they only do this a few times a year. They're going to start up the mill and they'll be grinding some cornmeal. And that will be at 11 and also at 1:30. The whole list of all their events that's going to happen, it's on our website, KOAM News Now. It's number 3 in the big 3. The Jolly Mill is a private park, but it is absolutely amazing. Donations are accepted. Our number 2 story, a tragic story from east of Carthage. Last Thursday night, a tractor trailer hauling chicken feed, hauling chicken feed was driving down 96 highway and a pickup truck pulled out in front of him. The driver of the pickup truck was ejected and then that pickup burned. Driver did not survive his injuries and was pronounced there on the scene. Our number 1 story, Burlington, they're coming. Deals, brands, wow. It looks like something I'd write. The wow. Now see, you're a big city girl, so you don't think that's a big deal. Now Burlington, they're working on it right now. It's not all the way there. We're still coming up on the date of October 27th is what we're hearing. They're hiring now. You can go to our website and find the link right there. It's on our front page there. You can text and apply on your phone even. They've already got their management team in place, I believe. However, they're still looking for associates. It's across from Carter's, Jefferson's, right there in the North Park crossing next to Target, Michael's. You know where that all is, right? Now, do you call that pink or you call that red?
That's definitely red. I think you're colorblind.
No, I think it's pink. Because if you hold it up next to Target, it's not red.
Darling, that is not pink.
That is pink.
T-Mobile would be pink. That is red.
No, we can argue about that all day long.
Voters, chime in on Shannon. Yes. Let's hear what you have to say. Is it pink or red? Let's hear.
Our bonus story of the week, well, we can argue about it at a birthday party. How about it? It's a birthday party for a two-headed snake, and you're invited. It's tomorrow in Branson. The Missouri Department of Conservation is hosting a party for Tiger Lily. I can't even get it out. I'm going to start laughing. She's a western rat snake. Only one of the heads eats. They put a cup on the other head, so when it eats, they perhaps could use the birthday hats to cover one of the heads.
Put it on as a muzzle?
When they feed it. So be sure and get there early. The party for tomorrow at the Conservation Center at Shepherd of the Hills, because Tiger Lily's probably going to eat twice as much cake as everybody else.
Tiger Lily. You know what? She deserves it.
It's so creepy looking. It's like a hand.
It's
wow.
Adorable.
Oh, it's adorable.
This weekend's hottest party, Tiger Lily's, the two-headed snake's birthday party.
Hottest party.
Exactly.
Tiger Lily.
It has everything. Mice, hats, and Shannon, who's colorblind, telling us what color it is.
Hot pink. Hot pink. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back with more news after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:41 now on this finally Friday across the 4 states. Some news to get to here first. We've got frost advisories all of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. They'll kick in tonight and run through 9 a.m. tomorrow. So if you've got any outdoor vegetation, bring it in. If you can, cover it up if you can't, because it's going to get cold. It's already cold. Beautiful start to the day. We've got mostly clear skies, 48 in Joplin with a calm breeze, and that's going to change a little later as well. So we're talking maybe even the possibility of some wind chills later. Look at some of these temperatures, though. 41 in Iola, 43 in Fort Scott, 45 in Nevada, 46 Lamar, Pittsburgh, Chatopa, 45 Parsons, 49 Miami, Monette, and 50 Neosho, Anderson, and Grove. Now, as we get our morning started, again, we're starting with the mostly clear skies, but those clouds begin to increase, and we're going to go mostly cloudy by late morning, and we're looking at the mid-60s. Then we head into the afternoon. We've got the possibility of some isolated to widely scattered showers, and these will persist with us, from maybe even as early as 11 a.m. through about 6 p.m. Will otherwise be mostly cloudy. Not everybody's going to get rain, and we're going to hit our high of 67 at about noon. After that, temperatures will begin to fall. We're down to the mid-50s by 4 o'clock. And if that's not cool enough for you, that's why we have frost advisories, because it's going to get colder. Temperatures continue to fall. Skies begin to clear as well. We're down to the upper 40s by 10. And here's the reason for those frost advisories. Overnight lows tonight, we're talking mid-upper 30s out there. And boy, it does not get any warmer as we go into our Saturday. So keep this in mind. Yeah, we have a high in the low 60s. Remember, we don't hit our high until peak heating of the day, which isn't until later in the afternoon. So that means the majority of our Saturday, we're going to spend that in the mid to upper 50s. So if you've got outdoor plans tomorrow, make sure you are prepared for that because it's going to be a bit chilly. Now, Sunday looks great, sunny. 70. Then we go in, we continue to warm up. We're back to the low 80s by Wednesday, but take a look. Shower and thunderstorm chances increase as well as the rain chances. And then this next system coming in is going to drop our temperatures another 20 degrees into the low 60s once again heading toward the end of next week. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now, here's Caitlin with a check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, major media organizations hope to broadcast Donald Trump's federal election subversion trial next year. A group of more than a dozen media outlets asked the judge overseeing Trump's trial for permission to record and broadcast it, or for the court to live stream and record the proceedings on YouTube. If the judge rejects those requests, the Media Coalition has asked her to vote release visual and audio recordings of proceedings at the conclusion of each day. A federal rule prohibits cameras during criminal proceedings in federal courts, but the media organizations argued in their filing that the rule violates the First Amendment. They also argued there is significant public interest in the trial and that video coverage would help undermine conspiracy theories surrounding the case. Home affordability is now at its lowest level in decades. Thursday, Freddie Mac reported that U.S. mortgage rates climbed to 7.49% this week. That's up from last week's 7.31%. Freddie Mac's chief economist says that the jump is due to several factors, including shifts in inflation, the job market, and uncertainty about the Federal Reserve's next move. The central bank has indicated it may keep rates higher for longer due to stubborn inflation. Higher rates, along with rising home prices, are making for a 20% drop in the pace of home sales compared to this time last year. The U.S. economy is dealing with 3 major strikes, but it appears some progress is being made. One group might soon be ready for lights, camera, and action, while another group may be inching toward pumping the brakes on their standoff. The 3rd strike is scheduled to end this weekend, at least for now. John Loring reports.
We got more workers walking out. Make some noise!
The largest healthcare strike in U.S. history is on day 3.
We don't feel valued. We don't feel that Kaiser executives are listening to the frontline workers.
More than 75,000 Kaiser Permanente employees are back on the picket line in California, Colorado, Oregon, and Washington State. The union coalition is demanding better pay and benefits, as well as more staffing.
We've been bargaining since April, okay? When we decided to give our 10-day strike notice, that's when bargaining actually started happening.
The Kaiser Permanente strike is set to end Saturday, but union officials say a longer strike could happen in November if a deal hasn't been made by then. Strike 2, the United Auto Workers, is still driving forward since it began last month.
I think we're at a point where it's a lose-lose. Now it's just a matter of how much does everybody want to lose?
General Motors said it made a counteroffer to the UAW's most recent proposal, adding in a statement that it is, quote, ready and willing to negotiate in good faith 24/7 to reach an agreement. As for the 3rd and final strike, in a joint statement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers Wednesday, SAG-AFTRA announced that talks will restart Friday. The parties are then expected to work over the weekend and resume on Monday. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The ongoing actors' strike and the recently resolved writers' strike could end up causing $4 billion or more in damages, according to the Milken Institute. That's an economic think tank. We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. The newest game in the Assassin's Creed series is out now.
Rick Damagello talked with the composer about their first ever soundtrack for a video game.
We work in the dark to serve the light.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is the latest game in the long-running franchise, taking place in ancient Baghdad.
You will have to find your way. when nothing is as it seems.
Having previously composed music for Showtime's Billions and Netflix's 13 Reasons Why, Mirage marks Brendan Angelides' first foray into video game music.
So normally with any TV stuff that I've done or film, kind of creative projects, it's usually a very linear process. Something I wasn't aware of, but once I learned diving in, is that the music engine is always running.
Which means composing music for more than just what is on screen.
So coming up with a piece of music that would be able to loop perfectly, would be able to turn on at any moment, depending on what you're doing, and have it make sense when it turns on. Have it be evocative, but not overly thematic, but also intriguing enough to the ear and not cause ear fatigue while also being different than another piece of music in another region.
Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Very impressive. Kind of reminds me of the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack. Now I know it wasn't yet, but it was kind of a big deal because they went all out with a fully orchestrated theme for that game, and that was a pretty big deal back then. And so it's impressive to see video games evolving into this cinematic world when it comes to their music. You want to talk about ear fatigue? This giant thing sticking in my ear all morning, I'll tell you what, it gives you ear fatigue. However, you'll be able to relax it because it's cool outside. Taking a live look at the MoDOT camera, 30-second and range line, and you can see the sun is shining for the time being. Mostly clear skies out there. Frost advisory, southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri. These kick in late tonight, run through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So if you got outdoor vegetation, bring it in if you can. Wrap it up if you can't. Clear skies, 48 in Joplin, 46 Pittsburgh. Mostly sunny out there as well. Clouds will begin to increase, though, as our morning continues, and we'll go mostly cloudy by late morning, mid-60s, and that is ahead of increasing shower chances. Now, they're not going to be everywhere all at once, but we could see a few isolated to widely scattered showers from about 11 through 6 this evening. And then the whole reason we've got these frost advisories, here we are at 10, mid-40s. By the time we wake up tomorrow, we're talking mid-upper 30s. Well, another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Over the past few years, the population of students in the Joplin School District who are considered to be homeless has risen. The district uses the McKinney-Vento definition of homelessness, which defines the term as individuals who lack a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime residence. According to Tara Porter, the caseworker for the district, 420 Joplin students currently fall under that qualification. And a U.S. Senator made an appearance yesterday at some southeast Kansas schools. One of the stops for Senator Jerry Morin was at Lavette County Community College. The senator says he made the trips to see how our local schools are doing. Senator Morin also visited Lavette County High School in Altamont and Southeast High School in Cherokee. Mercy Hospital Columbus hosted a ribbon cutting and formal blessing ceremony yesterday to celebrate the opening of a new outpatient physical therapy building. The new 2,400 square foot building quadruples the space that was previously available for outpatients. And now the new building is across from the hospital at 111 Sycamore Street.
And we've got ourselves a pretty decent day initially. Clouds will increase, then we'll start to see isolated to widely scattered showers out there, hitting our high at noon of about 67. Temperatures fall through the day, back to the mid-50s by 4. We head into the evening, temperatures continue to fall, rain exits by 6. Skies begin to clear, upper 40s by 10. Frost advisories, Kansas, Missouri through 9 o'clock tomorrow. Those will kick in late tonight because we're going mid-upper 30s for our lows. Cool tomorrow, very cool tomorrow. We'll spend most of the day in the upper 50s before we eventually cap out in the lower 60s. Nice on Sunday, even on Monday. Storms come in by Wednesday. We're up into the low 80s, and then that system kicks us down another 20 degrees back to the low 60s to close out next week.
All right, well, grab your Mickey ears and autograph book because Disney is offering a limited time deal for children.
But, go ahead. No,
Thanks.
You go ahead.
No, you know what? All right. Between January 8th and March 10th, Disneyland in California is offering $50 park tickets for children between the ages of 3 and 9. That's nearly half off the normal $98 for a regular child's ticket. These special price tickets go on sale October 24th. Meanwhile, Disney World in Florida also has a discount from March 3rd through June 30th. The theme park is offering half-off tickets and dining plans for children when families purchase a non-discounted 4-night, 4-day resort stay. Bookings for that open November 14th.
All right, so if you got an opportunity to get down there,
That's
get out
actually
west,
great,
get out
yes.
south, yeah, save a little money, go visit
A little
Disney
spring
World,
break trip for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great weekend, 4 States.